Hello everyone, today I want to share something a bit different. My YouTube journey so far, and specifically how this channel finally got monetized after almost a year of work. I'm Susie, I'm American, and I've been living here in Dijon, France for almost 17 years now. I usually talk about life here in France and personal finance. But today I thought I'd pull back the curtain and show you what's been happening behind the scenes on my YouTube channel. Why share this? Actually, I think my YouTube journey has parallels with personal finance. You put in a consistent effort for a long time with little visible return, and then things start to compound and to pay off a little bit at the beginning anyway. Plus, I think some of you might be curious about whether or not starting your own YouTube channel could be worthwhile. When I started this channel about a year ago, I had absolutely no experience with creating videos. I had to learn everything from scratch, how to film, how to use microphones, set up lighting, edit videos, absolutely everything. Initially, my idea was to start a channel where I could encourage people like myself, middle-aged, middle-income women, to invest. I've been actively investing in real estate and financial products for about 5 years. And honestly, I kept trying to bring up investing with family and friends because I really wanted to talk about it, but there just wasn't much interest. I felt starved for interaction on this topic, and I felt like there were not a lot of other people like me on YouTube in this space. Plus, I felt like I had learned so much and I desperately wanted to pass my knowledge on to other people. I was really inspired by this French channel called Liberté Financière Laurent. I discovered this channel when I started dabbling in real estate crowdfunding last year, which I thought of as a good way to scratch my real estate investing itch as my husband and I were saving up for a down payment for the purchase of our next rental real estate property. Laurent analyzes projects from the French real estate crowdfunding platform La Première Brique, and you can see here are a few examples of recent analyses that he's done, and I think that they're always really well done and thorough. So when I finally invested for the first time on La Première Brique, there was a little box where I could enter in a referral code. So I used the code that Laurent had mentioned in his videos, which actually earned me an extra 1% interest on that first project. And Laurent also earned a bonus as the person who had referred me basically to the investing platform. So it was a win-win situation for both of us. In other videos on his channel, Laurent also regularly reported on his various monthly income streams, including from YouTube, showing that he was making some money from AdSense revenue and quite a lot from referral codes like the one that I'd used. I saw how Laurent was basically using YouTube to generate multiple income streams in his efforts to reach financial independence, which is also my ultimate goal. Despite having only a few thousand YouTube subscribers at the time, although he has more now, his monthly income updates demonstrated that his approach was really working. Meanwhile, my husband and I have been running a short-term rental unit in our converted garage for over 3 years now. And I remembered that when we were setting up our Airbnb, I watched a ton of YouTube videos to get ideas and just to understand how the whole short-term rental system worked. Our revenue from our short-term rental has been significant for us. As I mentioned, we have relatively modest income from our jobs, so having this additional income has been amazing. And I think hearing about it actually helped to convince some of our friends to start their own similar projects. I helped a friend set up his listing on Airbnb about 2 years ago, and because Airbnb also has a system of referral codes, we both got a bonus as a result of that. So I got a bonus as the experienced host who had referred him, and he got a bonus as a new host who had used the referral code of someone that he knew. So with that experience in mind, and then also seeing how Laurent was having all of this success on his YouTube channel with his referral codes, I started thinking, what if I made videos about our great Airbnb experience and shared all of the valuable lessons that we had learned along the way, while sharing my referral code and offering to help people by giving them a little feedback on their listing as they were getting everything set up the way I did for my friend. And that way I could earn a little money from Airbnb referrals via YouTube. Why not? I thought. The videos could be genuinely useful for people, and if people were satisfied and wanted to return the favor, they could use my referral code when they were setting up their listing. It hasn't quite worked like that yet, but I still believe in the potential of this type of business model. You can check out my Airbnb listing and use my host referral code below if you like. I also have my own referral code for La Première Brique, which I will include in the links below as well. And of course, also check out Laurent's channel for his excellent content on this subject as well. I'm starting to understand why this model hasn't worked for me. I think it's because viewers are looking for something different from me, but more on that in a moment. The first few months on YouTube were very slow going, but actually pretty fun looking back on it now. I published my first videos on April 30th and tried to stay pretty consistent, posting about one new video every week, more or less, throughout the summer and the fall. Summer was great for creating content because we were home managing our Airbnb, and since I'm a teacher, I had time to work on my videos. At first, I just didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I was trying to keep it a secret at first. And then every time I sort of sheepishly admitted to someone that I had started a YouTube channel, I felt incredibly self-conscious about it. Of course, I was imagining them thinking, who does she think she is? Why does she think she has anything worthwhile to say? Classic imposter syndrome. I finally told my mother and my sister about it the day that I realized I had 499 subscribers because I figured they would subscribe and that would get me to 500, which for me at the time was a really big milestone. And I think my embarrassing secret is pretty much out now, which another friend told me I just need to assume in French. It means kind of get comfortable with it or just accept it. And I think I'm getting there. One of the biggest challenges is getting my lines right. And this is really challenging when we're out in town filming, not because I'm embarrassed of people seeing us filming or anything like that, because oftentimes we try to go out when we're filming in parks and go early in the morning so there's not too many people around. But it's because I feel this added pressure when I have a family member filming me to get my lines right on the first or the second try. Like I'm just wasting their time and driving them crazy because I'm so picky about the end result. But here in my studio, sometimes I will say the same thing 15 or 20 times before I'm satisfied with the take, and it's just so time consuming. Either I try to memorize my carefully scripted lines, like that line, or I try to be more spontaneous, but it's always really stressful when I'm being spontaneous because I feel like I talk in circles and I can't express my ideas clearly and fluidly. And so I wind up just recording myself again and again in an effort to get that one good final take. I've just had to accept that recording the videos takes a long time, and I'm hoping that with practice it will get easier and that I'll get more efficient. Just to give you an idea of how long these videos take to record, I've just finished recording this one and I'm going to insert this little parentheses back into where it belongs in the timeline. This video has taken me 4 hours to record. Granted, I've been interrupted a lot, but it's also because I often record the same line 10 or 15 times. Sometimes I get it right on the first try, and sometimes it's just very painful and takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of repetition until I finally get the lines right. And in terms of production at first, my husband and I would film the videos together, and then he was doing all of the editing because I just assumed that I was not capable, that it was too technical and that it would take me forever to learn. But it was actually really slow going because he would edit the videos and then he would show them to me and I would make little requests for little changes, and then he would go back to the drawing board and sort of rework them a little bit. And it was just taking forever, and it became clear that I just needed to learn how to edit. And so I can't remember which one I did for the first time on my own, but I learned relatively quickly. It's quite easy, in fact. And I feel like this is the first time I will say this, but I will say this several times throughout this video. If I can do it, you can definitely do it as well. My editing skills are all obviously very basic, but I think it gets the job done, and it's much easier for me just to edit my videos myself instead of having my poor husband spend time doing it and going back and forth with him to make the little changes that I always want to make at the end. So at first my videos really were not getting very many views, which was kind of a relief actually because I wasn't really satisfied with them. I thought they were really amateurish, and I was really frustrated by what I perceived as my lack of ability to really articulate my ideas. So you can see the first day, April 30th, I released 5 videos all at once, and there were a few views there. 29 or something. And then there were some days where my channel got 0 views whatsoever. When I would release a video, the views would go up a little bit and then go back down. And then I would release a video, there'd be a few views, and then they would go back down. And yeah, and some days, one view, 4 views, 0 views. It was definitely slow going at first. So as you can see, over the summer, I was posting videos and not getting very many views. Not much was really happening, but I was pretty persistent, pretty tenacious here. Although it was a little bit It was a little bit disheartening that these numbers of views over the course of July, for example. But then I got a little encouragement here. In early July, I posted this video about e-bike commuting, and I had done at that point a lot of research, watching a lot of other videos, YouTube videos telling you how teaching people how to make their videos more engaging. And I had learned that it would be attention grabbing to include some more sort of action shots at the beginning of the video. And I did that and it paid off. There were a number of views, and you can see over this time period 16,000 views, 289 new subscribers, and I was feeling pretty positive and pretty satisfied at this point. Over time, my channel had evolved or devolved maybe into what Ed Lawrence would probably call a platypus channel, an assortment of seemingly unrelated subjects with no real clear direction or theme. Was it a personal finance channel? Was it an Airbnb channel? Was it a sustainable living channel? It just wasn't really very clear. I made videos about totally random subjects like local annual events, ways people can move to France, the best croissants in Dijon, free houseplants, and I also continued to do these monthly updates on our Airbnb revenue. And I also made a few videos about subjects that I'm really, truly, deeply passionate about, and sort of longer, more involved videos that required a lot of research. But I was happy to do it. I made one, for example, about raising bilingual kids. And I also made one about extensive reading, which is a language learning technique that I've had a lot of success with myself as someone who's been learning French for over 30 years. And I've also seen my students really benefit from it as a language teacher. I've been teaching English for over 20 years as well. But these videos didn't really perform necessarily in terms of attracting subscribers or getting a lot of views. A video that I made and released last summer about the cost of living in France performed relatively well at the time, and then it got a little additional boost in October when Jane from the YouTube channel Frugal Queen in France made a community post about it on her channel. So that was great. And then in the fall, I had 3 hits in a row. My video about my experience living in Dijon, a video with advice for people thinking about moving to France, and a video comparing how much things cost in France and in the US. Eventually, I did start to notice a pattern of the videos that seemed to be performing well. The videos I made about living in France seemed to generate the most interest. They also generated the most views, the most subscribers, the most comments. But then winter hit, and I got totally sidetracked by life events. Overwhelmed, exhausted, and a bit confused, I just let my little YouTube project go into hibernation. But as you can see, I'm back now. So now let's talk about the actual monetization process. In order to be monetized on YouTube, in order to be able to earn revenue from Google AdSense for the ads that people see when they're watching your videos or from YouTube Premium, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours within the last 12 months. So I officially hit 1,000 subscribers on November 13th and 4,000 watch time hours sometime in late November, which meant that I was eligible for the YouTube Partner Program, which I then applied to, or so I thought I had applied to, but I hadn't done it right. There was a little button in my YouTube Studio app that said, click on this to apply to the YouTube Partner Program. So I would click on it, and then it looked like it was kind of like in the process of considering my application or something. And a couple days would go by, and then that button would appear again, and it would say, click on this to apply to the YouTube Partner Program. I never got any further than that. I never entered in any of my personal information, my mailing address, all of the information that you actually have to enter into the system to complete the partnership program application process. I assumed that because I was eligible, I was monetized, and I felt no real urgency to complete the application process because I figured I'd work it out in the end. And I thought that probably the revenue that I was making was just sort of accruing in an account. And once the application process was complete, that I would be able to access whatever revenue that I had accrued over that period of time. But that's not how it works. Between November and March, I was eligible to be making AdSense revenue, but I hadn't finalized my application to the partnership program. During that period, I had about 40,000 views, but I actually missed out on the revenue that I would have made, which I think was probably about 200 euros. Ugh, that was painful to go back and calculate. So now you know only views that you accrue after officially being accepted into the partnership program count towards your revenue. So over the period from November to March, when I didn't post any videos, I should have been making a little bit of money, just a tiny bit, probably just a few euros every day. But I think if I had been making a little bit of money over that period of time, it probably would have motivated me to start making more videos again sooner, or to just have continued making videos over that period of time. Oh well. But eventually I came out of hibernation in the beginning of March, and I finally posted a new video for the first time in months. This was when I finally took the time to understand how to properly apply and complete my application to the YouTube Partnership Program, which was actually relatively simple. As with so many things, I just had to sit down, take the time, concentrate, focus, and figure it out. And I was officially accepted into the program on March 8th. And then on March 10th, I saw these little green dollar signs appear next to the videos, aside from a few, like this one, for example, that has this red dollar sign with a slash through it. It's not eligible, I guess, because it's too short. This one's only 6 minutes and 52 seconds long, so it's not eligible for monetization. And then, unfortunately, my e-bike commuting video, which is also not eligible, I think because I accidentally included copyrighted music in that one as well. So again, yet another beginner mistake. On March 10th, I saw that I had made €1.38 and I was thrilled. And then I started making around $2 per day until my most recent video about frugality in France, which I posted last week, which has been a smashing success for my channel. So this one video has made €154 so far, which is just mind-blowing to me. It made €2, I think, on the first day, yeah. And then by the second day, it had made €40, so an additional €38. And then the following day, up to 93. So I guess I made €53 from this video in one day. It's shocking to me. And as of now, I'm up to €213 in cumulative revenue. And it's all just incredibly motivating. Yes, the revenue, but also the new subscribers and the watch time and all of the incredible comments that people have been making. It's just amazing. So this YouTube journey has taught me so much already. It really is remarkably similar to my experience with personal finance over the past few years, in that it requires a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and the results are slow at first, very slow. Infinitesimal. But then they do sort of start to pick up, and that in and of itself is really motivating. And like with personal finance, you also have to accept that you're going to make mistakes along the way, sometimes expensive mistakes. And with YouTube, the mistakes that you make are often public, which is hard to accept. I know, for example, that I'm so mortified that I've left in a few like language slip-ups in some of my videos. As an English language teacher, I try to speak clearly and accurately, and I have literally messed up with irregular verbs in some of my videos before, which is just so embarrassing. But I'm human, and I don't know, the mistakes somehow got into the videos and I just left them. I wasn't going to redo the whole video just because of a little slip up. You understand, right? If I had only insisted on posting perfect videos, I think I probably wouldn't have posted any videos at all. So I think you have to just get the ball rolling and accept that there's going to be imperfection. That's just part of the game. I think I've discovered what my unfair advantage is, in a sense. This is a term that I learned from Ali Abdal. I think it lies at the intersection of the fact that I have been living in France for so long, but that I do come to this experience with my American perspective, and that I am interested in personal finance. It's about figuring out the unique perspective that only I can offer, and also figuring out how to take advantage of that for myself and for my viewers. And this is a bit challenging because, of course, I am multifaceted. And if I am emphasizing or highlighting certain aspects of my experience, the fact that I live in France, that I've lived here for many years, etc., I feel like I'm kind of minimizing other facets of myself. The fact that I'm a language teacher, the fact that I am into sustainable living, for example. But I think the challenge is really trying to incorporate all of those elements into my videos, which is something I think I've done fairly successfully so far, and which I definitely plan on doing in the future as well. And of course, the revenue has been great, but another really rewarding part of this is actually getting to interact with you in the comments section, but by email as well. And I have even had the privilege of meeting a few people in real life, that people who've watched my videos. So that is just unbelievably rewarding. And after months of toiling away by myself, it is so gratifying to hear from people and to have such encouraging and positive feedback. People have said things to me like, this is great content, keep going, we want more of this type of information. And that is just so motivational. And at the same time, it's a little bit intimidating. I feel a tiny bit of pressure. I don't want to let anybody down, and I hope that I can continue to make useful and practical content that you enjoy. And I can't help thinking this, and I've actually said it to a few people that I've been communicating with a bit, that some of you out there have the most incredible stories yourselves that I'm sure other people would love to hear about. So why not start a YouTube channel of your own? Going forward, I'm going to focus on making practical, useful content about life in France because my impression is that's what the viewers want. I have a document where I write down all of my ideas for videos, and I have currently about 700 ideas for videos, but I'm going to try to prioritize the videos that I think could be the most useful and practical for you. And I've also just set up an email list, and I've included the link in the video description below, and I'm planning on using this as another way to share useful and practical information about life in France with you. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe. So that's my YouTube journey so far. If you're someone that's thinking about starting a channel, I hope that this video gave you some insight into what it's really like in the early days. It takes a lot of hard work and patience, and like with personal finance, determination and a dose of good luck. But it seems like eventually, with time, the efforts can start to pay off. Thank you so much for watching. Your encouragement has made all the difference and is what keeps me going for sure. If you have any questions about life in France or about YouTube, you can leave those in the comments below. And I will link here to a playlist that includes more information about my life in France. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, à bientôt!